started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the D&B podcast. I'm your host, Camilio Salamander, and my co-host, KB the Mark.
Cause I'm a fucking mark for this shit.
Now guys, I know we late, but we do apologize. But we still at it.
Hold on, Camilio Salamander. Don't apologize to these fucking marks. The fuck? They should feel honored by our lateness. What's wrong with you? I am not apologizing for being late because unlike trash ass Monday Night Raw, I was watching a great college football championship game between Georgia and Alabama. And it had better storylines than trash ass Monday Night Raw, Salamander. It's so funny. The quarterback for Georgia threw a pick six in the SEC championship game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Young, the quarterback for Alabama, throws a pick six in the title game. And both of those pick sixes that each quarterback threw sealed the game for their respective teams. Isn't that irony? Isn't that such a great payoff?
It sounds like it. If you're a fan of them teams.
Exactly. I'm not.
But that's real life.
Real life.
That's
real
different.
life. It is. It is different. And these fucking these fucking squares that WWE can't even get fake shit right. Better late than never, but never late is better. So, from me and Salamander, we apologize.
Speaking of apologies, let's kick it off with Monday Night Raw.
Yes, indeed. Let's kick it off with Monday Night Raw. We had Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, Bobby Lashley, MVP opening segment. Salamander, I thought this was fantastic. Hey, Salamander, knock knock.
Who's there?
Bobby who?
Now, that was I seen some people they didn't like that promo, but honestly, I loved it. For one, it just kind of confirms we really never got this matchup before, and that's pretty common, a common known fact. But just a simple fact that it's acknowledged that much, and some of the stuff I didn't even pay attention to, like when he said that Bobby Lashley is a wannabe Brock Lesnar. I didn't even think about it until I was like, I mean, he is a big muscular guy that do powerful moves. That is what Brock Lesnar do. I never really thought about that till he said it. Now I'm thinking is every guy who's like Brock, who does like the Brock Lesnar type moves and everything, is considered a Brock Lesnar wannabe? Like the big guys, like the Chris Masters and all the big guys who came in with that look. It make you wonder now. But I mean, this promo get an A+. Of course, it was interrupted by the former Hurt Business members. I don't blame him for kicking them to the side too, because if y'all gonna rock with me, y'all can't be losing. And they trash. I ain't gonna lie. If the Hurt Business is gonna come back, he need to get stronger members. And I think it's about time for him to recruit 2 people from NXT, a face we ain't seen yet, and then have them be the Hurt Business. But I wouldn't even bring them in as a tag. I'll bring them in, have them like his bodyguards. Like, MVP can't do nothing right now. He basically done, but he's not gonna do nothing except hit you with the cane. But I would have them two there all the time. I had them in turtlenecks, black turtle. They were all black turtlenecks. Yeah, that's how they should do it though. And it just had them be like his muscle and shit, and then you can tell that story. Tell something like, you know, they basically beat up the old members and shit. I think I had something like they got that shirt, like they wearing their hurt business attire or something like that. And then they got this new group, the Bobby Lashley New Muscle came across them, so they beat them up and basically took off all their attire because they got their name on it, the hurt business stuff, and it was like, you know, you no longer represent this. Don't let me catch you with, you know, this on anymore. But they ain't gonna go that route. That's too much work for them.
Yeah, two things I want to take away from this. I do agree. I never really put that much thought into it until he said it. Two, I like the line that the Almighty said, and he kind of brought that real life into it as well when he said, for 20 years, respectfully, you've been ducking me. Because that can translate to the MMA side of their careers as well. And number two, how awesome, just going off what you said, how awesome would it have been for AOP to be the bodyguards for the Almighty?
Yeah, that would.
They should have been stayed in NXT, so when you needed something like this, you could bring them in as the bodyguards to the Almighty.
Yup.
It just makes sense. Moving on. What I did not like, and what me and you have talked about time and time again, there was the Raw Tag Team Championships were on the line. RK Bro defending against Alpha Academy. Alpha Academy got the win after Randy Orton was tagged in. Solomon, I'm not going to hold you. The match was fine. Didn't like the result. I think we could have done this at the Royal Rumble. Because now you have to piece together the story arc to get to Orton betraying Riddle, when we could have just done that at the pay-per-view as well as the title change. I felt like the title change came 3 weeks too early.
Yes, it came way too soon. It's just another thing that they rushed. You know, I don't know why they gave it to us this early, knowing damn well they gonna run a rematch on at the Royal Rumble. That's exactly what we're gonna get, the same outcome.
Right.
And don't let them actually get defeated, and then it's like, what's the point of y'all winning the titles? Y'all gonna drop them again? I don't know. It's like, it seems like some of this stuff they are booking themselves off of emotion, and then it just don't make sense sometimes. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, definitely it did make sense. Moving on, we had the Street Profits and Damien Priest versus Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, and Apollo Crews. The heels got the win. The match was okay. That's all I can say. The match was okay. There was nothing really to sweat about with this match. It was a decent match. I just wish that, and I know WWE, they're starting to take tag team wrestling a little bit more serious, but I feel like this match, it didn't live up to the hype.
It didn't. I do kind of like how they're trying to build Apollo Crews back up, because he was kind of looking strong throughout that whole match. But I mean, I think like Monday Night Raw and all their storylines, I believe they really lost in the shuffle. Because they started off doing Damien Priest he doing the open challenge, and then it's like they booked themselves into a corner on that, because it's like, all right, if he do this for so long, he gonna go through the roster. So then it's like, who eventually is gonna challenge him and take the belt off? Then you can only go so far with an open challenge before that champion lose. Then it's like, it wasn't no storyline to it. I mean, the storyline was the open challenge, and he just so happened to get challenged by somebody he couldn't defeat. I just really believe they don't know. They at least Monday Night Raw storylines is lost, besides a few. But it's the ones you could tell what they care about, what they really don't. I would say that. The Raw, Smackdown, they are two different shows. They way different. So, I would say Raw, you can tell they lost on the shuffle.
No, I agree 100%. Moving on, we had Seth Rollins in a Big E promo next. Seth Rollins was hyping up his Royal Rumble match with the Tribal Chief. Big E came out, said he was going to win the Royal Rumble and challenge Seth Rollins if he wins. Then we moved into Big E versus Seth Rollins. I actually thought this match was fantastic. I thought the crowd didn't appreciate it, and I brought that up because you said it best a couple podcasts ago, how WWE fans will never like a technical match as much as an AEW crowd was. And just looking at this match and how good it was, the crowd was dead. It's like they didn't care. And I thought this was a fantastic match.
Of course. Just like all Cesaro matches should be loud as hell. But it don't. He just now getting the respect. He just got that respect for real when he challenged Roman Reigns. That's when he actually got the respect that he actually deserved. But, I mean, you see what that turned out. You see what they're doing with them. On technical wrestlers, and there's no point. Because if you technical, it's a difference between being a sports entertainer wrestler and a professional wrestler. There's a huge difference. I'll just leave it there.
Let's move on, because I agree with you. We'll leave it there. Moving on, Rhea Ripley, Nikki Ash segment. They were, I guess, coming out to challenge for the women's tag team titles. Rhea Ripley said, nah, how about we just go on our own and be cool? We can still be friends. Nikki Ash took offense to that and started beating up Rhea Ripley. I like the angle only because they gave us something different. A lot of people probably would have suggested or would have guessed that Rhea Ripley would turn heel. But Nikki Ash as the heel, I can kind of get behind that. Put her in that and this is a very loose comparison, but that Batman vigilante not really having friends type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I don't. And because they should have never did this shit in the first place. They should have never had these two team up in the first fucking place. This was horrible. I don't want to see what this is going to lead. What this going to lead up to? Nikki Ash versus Rhea Ripley. I don't want to see that shit. I mean, if Nikki Ash wins, what do this do put her? I mean, she already had the belt once, and that didn't last long. The fans wasn't behind that. They was only behind that for the first day. And if Rhea Ripley wins it, what's gonna happen to her? I mean, they already did. They both failed as champions, so there's nothing that you're gonna capitalize from it. And it's something I don't want to see. But this just shows you what WWE women roster is. It's fucking ass. They don't have nobody to challenge for the champions because they've been booking all that other women talent like shit. So then when you get to a point like this and you have nobody that's believable to challenge the champion, one, because you already had these two superstars face off against each other twice already and the champion won, or anybody else, you just been having them booked in like fucked up situations where it's not believable. If you put up, say that they're number one contender or they challenge them for the belt, it's not gonna make sense because the way they've been booked. So they booked themselves into a fucking hole where, guess what? They gotta call out on legends to come back and save their ass. That's the only time we care about the Women's Royal Rumble is when, because we know legends coming back, to see what legends coming back. Never have they had a Women's Royal Rumble where they had at least 30 signed women on the roster, main roster, not NXT too. Never. It just shows they don't care about the women's roster. There's so much talent there that you can do, but y'all ignore it on a daily basis. There's no reason why Naomi ain't a multi-time women's champion right now. She's getting slept on. There's no reason why Liv Morgan, you should have been pulled that trigger on her. You should have they think about it now. No, you should have pulled it last year. when she left Ruby Soho in them group. That was the perfect time to do that shit. But they didn't. It just shows you they don't care. They only, like I said, they only care about the top 5 that they switch the titles on all the time. And Bayley gone, so they really don't know what the fuck to do. Bayley and Sasha gone, so they lost. They like, man, what the fuck? Call leader. We already, you know what I mean? Like, they legends and I love them. But it's like, you know, sometimes they come in, they be looking rusty sometimes. Like, you can tell, you've been out the ring for 6 years. You can tell you look like you've been out the ring for 6 years. And stuff like, you kind of sloppy and stuff with it. And I don't want to see that. That's why, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, Raw, but WWE in general, in this case, they booked themselves into a hole with their women's division. They can't get out of it right now. Shit, you had it with Alexa Bliss. There's so much shit y'all could have did with Alexa Bliss. Y'all could have capitalized on that character so long ago. But y'all chose to wait. And then on top of that, not even give it to her. Then on top of that, y'all just made this whole character that we were supposed to get not even intimidating. It just, they ran it all down. I get frustrated when we talk about the women's division because there's so much good talent there that they can do, but they don't capitalize off of it.
You done?
Yeah.
Okay. Call Mickie James for 1. 2, they don't care about the women's division. So why should we? You shouldn't even be that stressed out about it. They don't care, so why should you?
Man, they just got so much good talent that I know that's good.
I mean, we both know how much talent there is, but they don't care. So if they don't want to put the time and the effort in for the women's division, I'm not going to care. So you have anything else you want to input or you want to move on?
Nah, we can move on.
Next up, we had Reggie, Dana Brooke, 24/7 segments. They threw cheesesteaks at Tamina. They got away. Reggie ran into Omaz. Omaz threatening. Dana Brooke told him to put him down. God fucking awful. You've said it once. You've said it twice. You've said it a million times. Retire this belt. Throw it in the trash can. Set it on fire. Take it to the trash heap. Compact it. And never bring it back.
After you said they threw cheesesteaks, you could have just move on to the next one. That was ridiculous right there.
Yeah.
We all adults having a food fight.
Well, isn't one of your greatest questions never answered is who threw the pie at Kevin Owens?
But that's different though. That was off camera.
Okay. No, I was just saying. No, I agree with you. Moving on. Omaz versus Nick Sanders. I have a little conspiracy theory for you. This match, it just put over Omaz, showed how tall he is, how physically dominant he is. Let me ask you this conspiracy theory. What if Brock Lesnar loses to Bobby and then he has to put over Omaz at WrestleMania because Omaz wins the Royal Rumble?
No.
I
would say the greatest thing that WWE did with Omaz is pair him up with AJ. But pairing him up with AJ, WWE did the dumbest thing ever by not making them motherfucking Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash 2.0. That's all they had to do. But they didn't. They made them into a tag. Made them capture the belt that they only held for at least like 2 months. They didn't need that title. They didn't need to do the tag. AJ could have continued his singles career and everything. You could have put him in the mid card. Have him challenge for the US title or the IC title. And have Omaz be his fucking Kevin Nash, be his muscle. So that way, in the meanwhile, he's training. So that way, when it comes and he finally turn on AJ, he is a fucking monster. And we do not see what he needs to work on in the ring. Now, every time he step in the ring, he gets better. I can't admit that. But it's Raw, it's Smackdown, and it's NXT. If you're on Raw or SmackDown, You should not have to be in a performance center as well at the same time. That's what NXT is for. WWE fucked that up. So now what they're gonna do is they got one or two things to do. The first thing, just keep having Omaz run through, jobbers, local performing talents that they call them, until he gets better. Or have him run through the roster until he gets to the point where he challenges for the title. And then we really see what he's like. But then he get that far only to lose to what? Bobby, Roman, Brock. Them the only three believable people that can defeat him. To me, they just booked themselves into another nutshell.
No, I agree. Moving on, we had the Cutting Edge. Special guest Beth Phoenix. They were showing a promo or video package showing how dominant Beth Phoenix was back in her day, and then she asked Edge if he was trying to butter her up for later tonight. Edge did the eyebrow thing, and I was like, so are they about to have live sex on television? The Miz came out, started berating the fans of Philly, talking about how he agrees with Ben Simmons. Why he said he will waste $33 million than play for this godforsaken town. I thought this was fantastic. Maurice walked out on Miz when Miz was trying to hype her up to go against Beth Phoenix, and then Beth Phoenix final line saying if Maurice doesn't show up, she'll be happy to knock his teeth down his throat. I thought the whole thing was a fucking plus.
I'm gonna fart on this shit.
What?
One, I don't want to see this shit.
I don't either.
The two, they only show how dominant Beth Phoenix was. Maurice already knows. She was wrestling around the same time that Beth Phoenix was there. They only showed this because the people in the crowd don't know who Beth Phoenix is. That's why. Most of the people in the crowd is young. The only people who know was like the OGs, but they probably was like, that's Beth Phoenix. And then the other people who didn't know was like, oh, that's why they did it, because people don't know. Just like Relita come back. Like that shit Relita. They don't know who that is. So they gotta the WWE Hall of Famer, 6-time women's champion or whatever like that, just to hype them up, But, I don't want to see this. Maurice ain't been in the ring since fucking 2012. Beth Phoenix ain't been in the ring since that one-off that she had, and then she didn't. She looked good, but you could tell she been away. But I can only imagine what this gonna look like from two people who's been away. So we already know what WWE do. When the men tag in, one of the men's gonna tag Maurice in. He's not gonna face Edge. And then it's gonna be forced to be them two. And then, that means we're gonna be forced to watch two people who ain't wrestled in years wrestle.
Well, Maurice had the mixed tag match with John Cena and Nikki Bella at WrestleMania. What was that, 2017, 2018?
And that shit was shitty.
It was. But I do agree, though. And that's how it's going to play out. So my question is to you, and then we can move on. Where do you put this on the show, and how long?
Pre-show. Put on the pre-show and have it run the last 10 to 15 minutes of the pre-show before we kick it off.
You're going to put Edge, Beth Phoenix, Miz, and Maurice on the pre-show? Yes. That doesn't make any sense.
Only this WWE. Don't nothing make sense. That's the thing.
You're putting one of the hottest acts on the pre-show. They love Edge.
But didn't WWE release one of the hottest acts they had? It's WWE. Don't nothing make sense.
Who was that?
Everybody who fucking signed to AEW who's blossoming right now.
Well, that's different.
Everybody they just released some Mojo, all these good ass talent, Karrion Kross, and they just let them go. Yeah, don't nothing make sense. At this time of age, we had the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, the PG era. This is the shit don't make sense era of WWE. Because for like the last since like 2019, shit ain't made sense. Since 28, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. From what 2014 to I'll say 2018 was actually good for WWE. That was a good 4-year run. And they brought Smackdown back. They made the tag team titles on at least on Smackdown mean something. You feel me? So a lot of shit was good and rocking around this time. It was a good period if you haven't watched wrestling in a while to come back and watch it, to return, I would say. And then from 2019 to now, shit ain't make sense. So this is the shit don't make sense era.
Okay. All right, moving on. We had AJ Styles versus Austin Theory. I thought this match was okay. AJ Styles went off a DQ when Grayson Waller came in, setting up their match on NXT 2.0. It was okay. Nothing really to talk about here. Do you have anything to add, or would you like to move on?
AJ Styles pulling double duty. 1, 2. I still don't understand why the fuck he's going to NXT. But I could see, you know, at least some like a pro talent going to, you know, wrestle one of the rookies to like to show him. But I mean, this didn't kind of make sense. It should have been somebody like a motherfucking somebody on the main roster that kind of resembles him, that he can see, like, you know, I'm gonna take you as my protege type shit. So you get on the main roster, find me. Like, gaining respect type shit. And then on top of that, I mean, he a rookie. He just walking on Raw like ain't nothing. You on NXT shit, like ain't shit happen to you. You can just tell they really. I'm glad they named it NXT 2.0 because this shit is not NXT. They supposed to be development, but now they on fucking TV, and then you just got motherfuckers on NXT popping on Raw like ain't shit. This don't make fucking sense, man. The NXT is not no motherfucking development. It's motherfucking the ECW version. It's motherfucking the third brand of WWE. It just lasts longer than ECW did. Hopefully.
Moving on, we had an Alexa Bliss therapy segment. Nothing really happened here. She broke a lot of shit. She's still the evil fiendish character.
WWE gonna fuck on that.
Wait, you what?
WWE gonna fuck on that. They gonna fuck that up.
She's been fucked up.
I know. And then they had her disappear. We thinking she gonna come back as Little Miss Bliss, which makes sense. Just to have her come back as a version of Little Miss Bliss mixed with the Fiend character. We don't want to see her as the Fiend if we don't have Bray Wyatt. What do WWE do not understand about that shit? It's that simple. You let go of Bray Wyatt, okay, take this shit off TV. We don't care about it no more.
I don't think they care what you think.
That's why Raw failing.
Main event, Doudrop versus Liv Morgan versus Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair looked fantastic in this match. She was about to get the win. Becky Lynch took her out the ring, started beating her up. Doudrop pins Liv Morgan. Now we're getting Doudrop versus Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch tried to manhandle slam Doudrop, but Doudrop knocked her outside the ring. I thought this triple threat match, it did its job to get over Doudrop. I won't give it much more than that.
Alright, you ready?
Yes.
This shit was good. I would say it was good, but it was fucking awful at the same time. And the reason why is because, for one, Bianca Belair, okay, she may look strong, but the person that y'all was actually pushing to challenge for the title, she just got pinned. So I do not want to see her up there no more. She got to earn her way back up there. After Doudrop lose, because we all know she's going to lose, Liv Morgan better not say I'm next. I swear to God. Take your ass back and challenge a couple more people. Earn your way back up there. It just shows you WWE do not have the talent They have the talent, but they're not capitalizing on the talent that they have to build up the next women to challenge that actually make it look believable. Doudrop is not going to win. Did she look good in that match? Yes, but we all know WWE is not taking the belt off of Becky Lynch to put it on Doudrop. They changed her name from Piper Niven to fucking Doudrop. They are not going to put no fucking title on nobody named Doudrop. That's like giving Hurricane the WWE title. They ain't doing that shit.
That's it for Monday Night Raw. I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. It was not really exciting outside of the cutting edge segment and the opening promo.
I'm giving this shit, I'll give it a 4. And that's really just because of the opening promo. Just because of, my guy Bobby Lashley was here and stuff. And he didn't even get made look weak either, because he didn't get a chance to reply back. So he still looks strong.
Like it. Moving on, we have NXT 2.0. We're just gonna go ahead and breeze by this show. NXT 2.0 opened with a Braun Breaker opening segment. It felt very Monday Night Raw-ish. I thought it was good. He gave props to Tommaso Ciampa. He put over how professional Tommaso Ciampa is. He then said if anybody wants to step up, go ahead and step up. He was going to leave. Then Santos Escobar came out. He had a match against Zion Quinn, so it looks like Santos Escobar is going to be Braun Breaker's first opponent, which I can't wait. I think that match is going to be fire. Santos Escobar, he beat Zion Quinn. The stipulation was Elektra Lopez will leave with the winner. She screwed over Zion Quinn by kicking him in the balls. And Santos Escobar hit the Phantom Driver for the win. The match was fine. I liked it. I liked how Elektra Lopez screwed over Zion Quinn. Salamander, I'm not gonna lie to you, I actually like Zion Quinn a lot. He's not main roster ready, but when he gets to the main roster, he's going to be a handful. We had a Tony D'Angelo promo hyping up for his crowbar on a pole match with Pete Dunne. We then had Cameron Grimes versus Damon Kemp. This is the brother of Gable Steveson. Cameron Grimes won in, I want to say, about 3 minutes. It was a squash match. We then had a Joe Gacy and Harlan promo saying that they were going to go into the Dusty Rhodes Classic and that the team they were going against would be in a safe space. I thought it was god-awful. I don't like the Joe Gacy character. We then had the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic play in Malik Blade and Idris Enofi versus Harlan and Joe Gacy. Malik Blade and Idris Enofi won after Harlan got disqualified because he was beating the shit out of these people. Thought the match was fine. It did its job. We have an Imperium promo next. I love Imperium. They are the NXT Tag Team Champions, also along with Walter, so that was good. Pete Dunne versus Tony D'Angelo in a crowbar on a pole match. I thought this match was good until I started seeing all the weapons on the outside, and then come to find out you can't use any of those weapons because the crowbar is the only weapon that you can use. I thought that was stupid. Why have all the toys out there, like the chairs, the trash cans, the kendo sticks, if you're not going to be able to use them? So I thought that was stupid. The match
3 letters. WWE.
There you go, because of WWE. So I thought the match was fine. Pete Dunne really carried Tony D'Angelo to a decent match. Moving on, we had Persia Pirotta, Indy Hartwell, and Wendy Chu versus Amari Miller, Casey Cannizzaro, and Kaden Carter. Salamander, I think Wendy Chu is their female Orange Cassidy because all she does is sleep, and then when she gets tagged in, she gets going. I think the gimmick is stupid. I thought this match was god awful. Didn't like it at all. Moving on, we had MSK and Dakota Kai segment. MSK we're looking at the Dusty Rhodes Classic trophy, and Dakota Kai came out there, and I thought she dropped a gem of a line when she said success divides teams. I'm paraphrasing, but I thought that was a gem of a line, especially to say to MSK, who's trying to find themselves again. I thought that was a gem. We had Boa and Solo Sikoa That match ended in a double count out. It was god awful. Nothing really happened. They continued their fight backstage. I still wasn't impressed. We had a Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes segment. He keeps hyping up that he is the A champion. Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes went to leave, but Cameron Grimes had their keys and said he would rather take gold instead. We then had the main event of AJ Styles versus Grayson Waller. AJ Styles won. I'm not gonna hold you, Salamander. I love Grayson Waller. He has a move where he does like a little somersault into the ring, into a stunner. I think that is fantastic, and if that's his finisher, that's a hell of a finisher. Overall, I would give NXT 2.0. I say 5 out of 10. It wasn't nothing to take away from outside of the main event and seeing who Braun Breaker's challenger was going to be. Moving on, we are at AEW Dynamite.
Now this is what I've been waiting for.
We had Adam Cole, Red Dragon, Young Bucks, and a best friend opening segment. Adam Cole and Red Dragon came out to cut a promo talking about how they beat up the best friends. Then the best friends came out. Orange Cassidy and the best friends start beating up the Young Bucks. I'm sorry, I said this all wrong. Adam Cole and Red Dragon come out to cut a promo. They then are interrupted by the Young Bucks, who are talking about how they're the greatest AEW tag team of all time. They're the longest reigning champions, and their goal for the new year is to get the belt back. Red Dragon comes out and Red Dragon says this is what we want as well. Then the best friends come out. Adam Cole asks them what could they possibly want at a time like this, and then they all start fighting. Adam Cole, I believe he hit a low blow to Orange Cassidy, and Chris Statlander stepped in the way, but out of nowhere comes DMD, Dr. Britt Baker, and she attacked Chris Statlander from behind. She also hit Statlander with a curb stomp. The Young Bucks were going in for the double kiss on the cheek. They are then interrupted by Britt Baker, and Adam Cole and Britt Baker kiss. Salamander, as much as I love this opening segment, I'm going to be honest with you. I think this is a reactionary move to Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Miz and Maurice, and AEW trying to show you that we can do mixed tags better. What do you think?
Same thing. Yeah, I agree with that. One thing I want to point out, I think this was last week when Adam Cole had had faced is his name Atlas?
Yeah, Jake Atlas.
Okay, so when he had that injury, when he had hurt his knee, and Adam Cole had noticed it, I do want to point out how when he did his finisher, he gave him like a compassion kick. Like he acted like a whole professional through that, because you know some people they wouldn't give a fuck and stuff. So I do like how he, instead of doing like, you know, the kick and then finishing the whole move, he just ended it by, you know, just making like doing locking in the submission in the knee so he could sell it and stuff. So I did want to point that out, and I did like that aspect of it. It just show you how much of a pro Adam Cole is.
Nah, I get it. What did you think of this opening segment?
I liked it. I liked it way better than Beth Phoenix and Edge.
Yeah, you know, it was something about seeing Adam Cole and DMD kiss, and they really got the crowd going too, because the crowd was just like, ooh, and then they landed the kiss, and it was like, for some odd reason, this is better than the Young Bucks double cheek kiss. Don't know why though. Moving on, we had CM Punk versus Wardlow. I loved this match. I loved everything about it. Wardlow destroyed CM Punk with power bombs. Wardlow was about to pin CM Punk. He had the 2 count. MJF said stop because MJF wants to be the first person to beat CM Punk. He tells Wardlow to punish him. Powerbomb CM Punk through the table on the outside. He goes for another powerbomb, and CM Punk had just enough energy for a small package for the win. I thought this was fantastic. This
Well, no, this is the best AEW match this year so far. And I tuned in this week. I made sure I did because I wanted to see this match. When they hyped it up last week, I was like, this gonna be a good one because I know WWE got their eyes on Wardlow. His contract should be coming up because everybody did, I think, sign a 3-year contract. But all of their contracts is coming to an end right now. So I think, but the purpose of this match wasn't to have Wardlow win. It was really to purposely show slowly how they building into this feud of MJF and Wardlow. They slowly building and teasing the turn for it. So you just see how simple a fucking story can be told. Yeah, just a loss for words.
No, I definitely agree. Now,
anyone who's been sleeping on AEW, I really, 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 really recommend. Now, this is Salamander talking. But you know, if you watch the previous 36 episodes, you will see how much I was against watching AEW. But I've been checking it out, and I can say the AEW is picking up what WWE is lacking. Like, if you're looking for a certain thing, AEW will fill that in. I would really say that, I still watch WWE. They still feel certain aspects of wrestling still make me kind of feel like that kid again, but they're not all the way. But AEW fills in that aspect. I get what I'm looking for at AEW. I get what I want at WWE, but I get what I'm looking for at AEW. If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense, and I definitely agree with most of what you said. I still think the second Bryan Danielson Hangman Adam Page was probably the best match in AEW right now. This was the best story-driven match, though. I'll give you that.
And you know why I say this is the best match?
Why?
Because what am I big on?
Stories.
Right. And this has the perfect story, which to me, it makes this the perfect match. Each person, you want your matches and your technical matches and all that, you get that here at AEW. Certain people who's wrestling fans, they love wrestling, so they like the wrestling aspect of it. But then there's certain people who follow wrestling for the storylines and everything too. That actually gets them in play, and I'm a mixture of both. I love a great ass storyline along with a great ass follow up with a great ass match.
Right. No, I agree. I agree. I don't know if you heard Wardlow on an interview stated that he wants to be an AEW lifer. If I'm being honest, I don't really see him going to WWE.
Yeah, you say that with Kevin Owens too. I don't see him staying. Hey, like I said, I'm not saying that these guys are that, but you never know what anybody will really make that mind up if WWE throw that money. I'm not saying AEW can't afford it, but they also got low morale at this time too that is being rumored. And the reason why, because some of the day one people ain't being used. And I know we had this discussion a couple episodes ago that, since they signed all these WWE talent, some of them people who's been there since day one, they got to take a step back. Because if you are a fan of AEW, like I said, the diehard fans of AEW is the ones that watch the AEW Dark, AEW Rampage, Elevation, Dynamite. But the main people who just tune in just to see what AEW doing and what WWE is doing, they watch Dynamite. So they don't tune in to all this stuff. So the people who was there on day one, Private Party and all them people, they had to take a step back. Why? Because they signed FTR. They signed Sean Spears. They signed all these people who was with WWE. So these people is with a bigger company. So of course you want to capitalize off of that and put them on TV because you want that attraction. You want that fan base to come in. So then the people who've been there, they got to take a step back now. So now they on Dark, Rampage, Elevation, the shows that people don't really watch like that. So that's why, like, a couple episodes ago, I was like, where are they at? And you said they was on those shows. Like, that's why. That's kind of why, because some people feel like now they ain't got no place. So now they be more willing to go to the other side because they thinking now, like, Wardlow, he's good, but what if they ain't got no storyline for him? And you got to think about that, like, damn, I'm going to be on Elevation or Dark or something like that. And then, but I'm making this much money, but I'm not getting seen. Versus being on WWE, I get seen to a bigger audience, but if I'm not on TV, I don't mind sitting for like 4 months because I'm still getting paid, but I'm getting this amount of money. So, just something to think about.
No, I agree, because a lot of people think that Wardlow will probably benefit from going to WWE, and I can see it. My thing is, can he cut a promo? If he can't cut a promo, he's not going to do well in WWE. Because even the biggest stars have to be able to cut promos. You've seen it with Bobby, you've seen it with Brock.
They all wasn't good at promos though.
Well, I think Brock Lesnar has always been.
Yeah, I think Brock Lesnar has been good, but not Bobby. Bobby haven't always been good at promos. He just kind of started getting better because they having him play heel, so he could just say, shut the fuck up, I'll whoop your ass and shit like that. So it's kind of easy being that big badass heel. But, promos is important in WWE, but what I would do if WWE signed him, put his ass with a mouthpiece. That's all you got to do.
Right.
Meantime, have him work on his promos.
Right. No, I agree. Moving on, because we do want to speed this up. We had Powerhouse Hobbs versus Dante Martin. I thought this match was okay. It wasn't as good as the first time they went at it. Jay Lethal came down to make the save, and that would lead into some other stuff that happened on Rampage. Like I said, I thought the match was good. Anything you want to add to it?
Nah.
Moving on, we had Inner Circle and Eddie Kingston segment backstage. The Inner Circle were named Faction of the Year. Eddie Kingston then interrupted, and I think we're getting a Eddie Kingston Chris Jericho feud. Eddie Kingston said the reason why you guys aren't AEW Tag Team Champions is because of Chris Jericho. Santana Ortiz decided to leave, and Jake Hager left, and basically pretty much they all told them for those two to get their shit together. I thought this was fantastic. Anything you want to add to this?
Nah, I just know it's gonna be, if we do get that Eddie Kingston match, he actually caught my attention when he had a match with Miro.
Right.
So, and where's my guy Miro?
He is, if I'm pretty sure, I think he's getting himself together. He had a couple of lingering injuries.
That's easy. He gonna come back with a bang though. I think he gonna come back if they're not gonna put him in the main. Well, it depends when he come back, because I can actually see Miro being the person coming back and taking the belt off of Adam Cole.
Ooh.
Have him come back on the motherfucking tear. Like when he come back his return, have him just come and I had him going like a 3-month win streak. That will line him up with being the number one contender because he ain't lost in 3 months.
Right.
Boom, number one contender. That next pay-per-view or that next big, well, all their pay-per-views is big. So that next pay-per-view, book the match and have him drop it. By that time, he already done had the title for him in 6 months. I'm like, the way that they doing their title reigns, that's long. They doing longevity with title defenses that mean something. Like they actually putting up 5-star matches plus a build up is cool. So if you want to see, like if you get a Heyman versus Cody Rose for the title, you get that 8 to 10 week build up, and they ain't even have a fucking face off or nothing yet, like a match yet. So then when you get that 8 to 10 week build up and we finally get that one-off match at the pay-per-view, I don't mind seeing that shit one time because of the longevity of the build up. And we ain't seen him just because, all right, we know he's the number one contender. 2 weeks later on Dynamite, we seen him in the match like, WWE do. Like, I like that longevity that it spits anticipation to the match. So a 3-month build up, in the meantime, Heyman doing his thing, Miro challenging for the title, boom, take the title off him at the next pay-per-view. So that's how you do it. Then I have Miro actually be the first one to hold the shit for 2 years.
I can see that. I can see that. We had an MJF segment next. He interrupted the show to announce that CM Punk will be going against Shawn Spears. I think that's going to be a fantastic match. We had the AEW World Champion next. Hangman Adam Page and Dan Lambert segment next. Dan Lambert, he gets great heat, and he came out and was talking about the Cowboys of past, and he basically put over the Danielson and Hangman Page matches, saying those were some of the best wrestling matches he's seen in his 40 plus years of being a wrestling fan. He then was talking about the old, I don't want to call them the old guard, but the Cowboys of old, when he was a bigger fan of wrestling than he is now. He then told Hangman Page to stop with the Cowboy shit. Hangman Adam Page then said, I guess turning down a 6-figure contract isn't Cowboy shit. Because, he turned down a 6-figure contract to come and help this upstart company at AEW. I thought this segment was fantastic. It led to Lance Archer coming back, and Lance Archer gave him a blackout through the steel chair. I thought this segment was great.
Yeah, it was. But I could also see, Lance Archer being the next person to come to challenge him for the title. That would be a great builder, like his title defense, like for his title reign, for him to have Kenny Omega. He held the belt for a year, right?
Almost a year.
So that's why I said I would have Miro come when he take the title. If they do that, I would have him take the title and have him hold it. So since anybody hold it for a year, I have him hold it for a year and a half, or a year and a quarter. That way, boom. So that way, because you gotta be that special person to get that far. Then, even Kenny Omega didn't get that far, So that's how I would do it. But for him, Kenny Omega, he had the John Moxley, the who else did he face in his title reign? The Bryan Danielson. He faced a couple good people, Christian, all that stuff.
Yeah, Omega won against he had Pac, he had Orange Cassidy, Christian Cage, he had Moxley. He's had a
Bryan Danielson. So his title run so far is the best. Chris Jericho, he had John Moxley and a couple other people. John Moxley had Heyman and a couple other people. Now, so far Kenny Omega had the best title reign because of the talent that he faced during his title reign. So far, Heyman to me haven't had any defense that's, I would say, that's not worthy enough, but A1 talent that made me be like, ooh, this going down in the history books. But now with Lance Archer, this is the first one. I say this is the ultimate test that will make or break him as a champion. We're gonna see if he's worthy enough to be AEW champion or not. If he just gonna fold. I think this is when the test start.
Well, I think the two matches he had with Danielson, even though one was a tie, and he did beat him on the second one. Like I said, on the first podcast of this year, the fact that he beat Danielson in 30 minutes, it just, to me, it solidified his title reign, because Danielson was the hottest person in the company at the time.
But look, when he came in and he challenged Kenny Omega for the title, you didn't think he was gonna win that shit. It was too soon. He just came in, and then Heyman got the title, and then he got challenged by Bryan Danielson. You don't believe he's gonna win. It's gonna be a good ass match, but he's not gonna win because he just got the damn title. First time he challenged for it, he just got into the company. It was too soon. I think it was less than a month.
Well, that Danielson and Omega match wasn't for the title though. That was just an exhibition.
Either way, because it made him put him up there.
Right.
So then, now Heyman just got the title. It's too soon for him to lose it. So we just knew that was gonna be a good ass match to see, if he can put up a good match, if he can go the distance, basically. Now we know he can go the distance. Now let's put him up against a contender that's gonna give him a run for his money.
Right.
Boom.
Right. Now I see what you mean. Moving on, we had Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb attacked Hikaru Shida before the match started, and Serena Deeb took out her knee, worked on that injured knee that Serena Deeb had already injured beforehand. She then, once the match started, she locked in the Serenity Lock, got the win, and then attacked Hikaru Shida with a kendo stick, and that was how that ended. It was more so an angle than a match. I believe Hikaru Shida is going back to Japan, so if this was a way to write her off TV, I thought this was an excellent way to write her off TV. You still keep the heat for the rivalry going. You can have Serena Deeb go on a tear, take out a whole bunch of baby faces, and then when Hikaru Shida comes back, we can get that last match between them. Which I think you can honestly, with the way this is going, you probably could do a lights out match with these two. But what did you think?
I have never been disappointed with any of the women of the AEW roster that you put me on. I've never been disappointed. I know AEW had got really some bad flack on they women bleeding, but I love it.
I can say comfortably it's come leaps and bounds from where it was at the beginning. So yeah. I will give them credit for that. They have come leaps and bounds. They still have a lot of work to do. But I'm not gonna say I like where the division's at, but I'm okay with this with where the division is at. Did you want to add anything else before we move on?
Nah, we can move on because I want to talk about this one. Well, not this one, but the next one.
So we had Christian Cage, Jurassic Express, Alex Reynolds, John Silver segment next, hyping up their tag team title match at Rampage. Next up, we then had Matt Hardy versus Penta El Cielo Miedo. Match was okay. I'm not a real big fan of seeing Matt Hardy on TV every week. I do like where they hyped up the Cielo Miedo and the Delete, but the right person won here. Post match, Penta called out Malachi Black. Malachi Black came out. Then the Varsity Blondes came out to make the save. The lights go out again, and here comes Brody King, and they beat up the baby faces. And this is where we're at now. Brody King is now part of the House of Black, and he's a part of AEW. I'm more of a fan of the post match than I am the actual match itself. What do you want to add?
I think the match was good, actually. Like, it's good to see Matt Hardy back, and I'm loving like how he kind of in a mixture between old Matt Hardy and this Delete character Matt Hardy, because his pants brought me back like 2006 vibes that he had on. I do agree the right person won. But I just believe, like, for one, the Malachi Black, I'm loving that he's leading his own faction now. But I have two things to say about it. One, how are AEW going to get the fans not to cheer him? Because they basically heels and on that dark side, so they shouldn't get cheered. And the second thing, I just believe they could have capitalized. They could have did hit Brody King debut better. That's just what I believe on it. I think it was kind of sloppy how it was done. The hype was there, the pop was there, but the effect of it wasn't. I think it was too many blackouts.
Yes, that I can.
That was the thing, and then after it blacked out, I think Brody King could have looked more fucking strong. Like, he could have hit them all with a fucking strong power move. and stuff instead of throwing punch. I don't want to see that shit. You know, something like this quick. Like, you supposed to be made believable that you this big and all that stuff, and you with, you know, Malachi Black, so you need to be, you know, his move is crucial. So just imagine somebody he recruited moveset. That's what I mean.
Right.
So I think for one, it should see with Malachi Black, I would have just had him come out.
Yeah.
I would just have him come out and then just talk his shit outside the ring. Right?
Right.
They come up like they facing him in the ring. And then the blackout happened. Brody King behind him. Attacked him.
I think they tried to make it a little bit more Hollywood because right before the lights went out, you could see Malachi Black was counting them. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the lights go out. Here comes Brody King. He does his thing. I will admit, I do like the cannonball.
That rhymed too.
Yeah. I do like the cannonball. It's something about bigger dudes doing the cannonball. I love that shit.
That's crucial.
It is crucial. I'll tell you who the real star in this was, and nobody's really talking about her. Julia Hart. Julia Hart was out there saying that Malachi's had enough. Nobody paid attention to that. I think she's about to join the House of Black as well.
I'm just glad that he got this faction. Like, I want to see where it's gonna go.
Right. Moving on, we had the Acclaimed versus Bear Country. We love the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed got the win. There was nothing more behind it, just really building them up for the Sting and Darby Allin tag team match. Post-match, the lights go out again. It was Sting and Darby Allin, and they beat up the Acclaimed. Moving on,
Too many blackouts.
Too many blackouts.
Too many.
We had a pack.
That's 3.
Yes. Too many blackouts. We had a Pac promo next. I thought this was good. I think he's going to join the House of Black. We had a Matt Hardy and Andrade El Idolo segment next. I'm wondering what's going to happen here, and if Matt Hardy is going to start paying Andrade El Idolo, because you know the gimmick that Matt Hardy's been running is he's a fucking carny. So I wonder, is he going to start paying Andrade El Idolo for I don't want to say security, but for just to make sure that he starts getting wins and that his team is on top. So I'm very interested to see where this Matt Hardy and Andrade El Idolo angle goes.
I was thinking, like, what if he recruit Andrade to be part of his group? That's what I was thinking.
Well, then it would have made sense for Matt Hardy to like kind of recruit Andrade instead of Andrade coming over there and telling Matt Hardy that they can discuss some business, and then Matt Hardy leaves private party. But I do see what you mean. Main event, we had the interim TNT Championship on the line.
My fault not to cut you off. Cause it could have been a thing that Andrade came to Matt Hardy, and he could have been thinking, like, you know what, if I join with them, I can capitalize a lot of it. Cause I know I can get them to this spot if, you know, with just my little help that I can provide or whatever like that. Could be something like that too, if he approaching Matt Hardy. Cause we see so far, like, he's not going nowhere that no far yet and stuff. So he had his matches and stuff like that, but, you know, he didn't get. Basically, even us as a fan, we could tell, like, you know, he's not there yet to get to the spot that, you know, we think that he should be at, but he's not there yet. And then maybe like since maybe AEW sees it, and then they capitalize off of it, making it a storyline of Andrade basically, how, you know, Kevin Owens basically used the New Day to get what he wanted, which was a title shot. Right. And Kofi, when he was champion at the time, like that. Like, he see it, and he's about to use them to get them to take him where he need to be at. Like, basically, I look out for you, you look out for me.
I can see that. It's not a bad idea either. Main event, interim TNT Championship on the line. Sammy Guevara versus Daniel Garcia. I thought this match was fantastic. I love Daniel Garcia. I believe in about I say 6 months to a year, he could be a very good TNT champion. Sammy Guevara got the win with the GTH, and then post match, Jericho and Kingston go after 2.0, and then they start arguing amongst each other, and that's how the show ends. Salamander, what do you want to add to this? I thought this match was fantastic. Another main event match that AEW knocks out the park, and it's with their, what some people will call their mid-card title. When's the last time you've seen in WWE where a mid-card title was the main event of a show?
2006.
Wow.
Which was the best year in WWE. Alright, cat's out the bag. This is one of our news stories. We'll touch up on it a little bit later. But Cody Rose contract coming out. I'm assuming that's the reason why he wasn't on the show. If he's not injured or whatever.
Well, I think he had, don't quote me, but I think he had a COVID scare. Or either that or he had COVID. It was either a COVID scare or he had COVID.
Okay, and so now they're coming out that, his contract is up and he's working as a free agent, quote unquote free agent, right?
Right.
So I think it's gonna be a thing they're gonna go with the free agent storyline because for one, like you pointed out, he's VP. He's not gonna sign to WWE and be VP of AEW. Hell no, it's not gonna work. It's a storyline. I'm pretty sure he already signed, but they're gonna capitalize off of this and run with it as long as they can. And then when he returns, it's gonna be basically Sammy Guevara versus Cody, and for a unification title to be the ultimate TNT champion. And then they're gonna call it the Ultimate TNT Championship. No, I'm just kidding on that part.
I think it's a work, but we'll touch on that when we get there. Out of 10, I'm gonna give Dynamite a 6. It was a solid show outside of the Brody King debut and the main event. I'm not gonna say it was missable, but it could be on in the background and you not really notice.
I would say this show was a 7.5, pushing 8, and the main reason why is, man, them first couple matches of the damn show was fucking fantastic. So
I can see that.
I can't even. Yeah, the whole match was. Fuck it, gave him an 8.
Look at you, becoming an AEW fan. You're giving it better grades than me, and I'm supposed to be the mark.
Hey, I love wrestling storylines.
You got a couple.
I can't help it that AEW's giving me what I asked for.
I mean, they do have a couple of good.
Especially with the CM Punk shit, that motherfucking storyline with Wardlow, because that match, like, looking back on this after like the rivalry will be done with, you will look back on this and be like, damn, when they first start teasing Wardlow turning on MJF, damn, who did he face? CM Punk. It's gonna be one of those. Like, you're gonna have to think about it for a while because you're gonna remember the build up to the turn more than that match. You feel me? The match was awesome, but it was a storyline because they told the story. They showed, Wardlow kind of feeling sympathy for CM Punk since MJF kept telling him to body slam him, firebomb. And just the fact that it shows MJF arrogance and selfishness, that he didn't want Wardlow to win the match where he clearly hadn't won because he wanted to be the first one to defeat him. But he basically told Wardlow to take a loss for me, but just whoop his ass. That's really it. But it do show you too at the same time CM Punk talking his shit when he was getting his ass whooped. If you get a good ass storyline, follow up with a good ass match, you just can't. I would say when they teased this shit last week, it was worth the payoff. Like I said, I'll make sure I tune my ass in this week. I was sitting there. I was like, damn.
No, I agree. Moving on, we have Friday Night Smackdown. We have the Usos in the opening segment. They were hyping up their match with the New Day and giving New Day credit. They were also hyping up the Fatal 4-Way match to determine their challengers, I believe, for the Royal Rumble. We have Los Lotharios versus the Viking Raiders versus Cesaro and Mansoor versus Jinder Mahal and Shanky. The Viking Raiders got the win. I thought the match was as good as it was going to be. I did not like the winners. Honestly, I would have given it to Los Lotharios or Cesaro versus Mansoor, but they decided to go with the Viking Raiders. And let me ask you, Salamander, what did you think of it? And if Roman Reigns is set to lose, do you think the Viking Raiders are set to dethrone the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team titles?
I believe it could go both ways. I believe if, depending on what match they run first, they choose to run Bobby and Brock Lesnar first, then I believe Roman is going to retain. But if they run Seth and Roman first, which I think they might, because it has no storyline to it, Roman's going to lose. Uso's going to lose. Brock retains. Brock officially declared to be on SmackDown. Seth Rollins take the Universal title to Raw, and then that's how they do it. They're gonna give us Brock and Roman at WrestleMania for the WWE title, and they're gonna put the WWE title back on Roman. But I mean, it's a lose-win situation, because I don't want to see, if that happens, I really want to see Bobby go over on Brock. I don't want to see Brock go over on Bobby. But there's a chance that we could get a part 2 of that. But then at the same time, we could also get Bobby versus Seth Rollins, which seems like a promising match as well. So, I mean, like I said, it's a lose-win situation.
I could definitely see where you're coming from. I don't want to see the Tribal Chief lose to Seth Rollins, but if he's going to lose to anyone, I will be okay with him losing to Seth Rollins, because the track record is there to show you that he's never beat Seth. So why give him that win now? Especially if the bigger match is Roman versus Brock. And if you want to move the WWE Championship to SmackDown, then this is a good time, like you said, to get that Universal title off of him by going against somebody who he's never beat.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you, I do agree. They'll tell you by whichever match they decide to run first. Moving on, we have the Naomi Sonya Deville segment. Naomi came into the office with Sonya Deville, trying to figure out why Sonya Deville was hating on her. She was taking off her earrings to fight Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville then told her that as long as I have this jacket on, I'm a WWE official. And then Naomi just up and left. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking, later on in the show, Sonya Deville's gonna take that jacket off, and Naomi's gonna walk up in there, and it's gonna be stupid, but it's gonna be stupid in a good way. So, what did you think of this, or did you want to add anything to this, or did you want to wait till they had their segment later on?
I believe I've been saying this, but it's gonna lead into a match at WrestleMania. We finally gonna get that payoff against Naomi and Sonya Deville, but it's a slow build up. They be telling it slowly, but I wish they would actually make it. It's the attention, like make it known. Like I would say, since she's I would really have Adam Pearce book the males, and have Sonya Deville in charge of the females, right?
Right.
That way, when Naomi, she gets in matches like that she's kind of outnumbered on, or that's kind of not in favor of her, right? So then the only person to blame is Sonya Deville. And then that's setting up like that authority figure using this power to get over on the superstar. So you kind of getting back like them old GM storylines, them heel GM storylines that's screwing over the babyface. Like when Vicky Guerrero was a GM of SmackDown, and Undertaker had the World Heavyweight title. And after he defeated Edge for the title on SmackDown. That she talked about coming out talking about you got to restart the match. You can't use the Hell's Gate. And like she kept banning certain moves and shit on purpose so it won't be in his favor and shit like that. So like I would do something like that, and then that way you can get the build up to it. Boom, you can either have it being like the week, like 2 weeks before WrestleMania, like get to a point where you just have it like you got Adam Pearce go to Sonya backstage segment and be like, man, I just got a call from Vince. He set you and Naomi for WrestleMania, but it's one stipulation: if you lose, you fired. Boom.
I like that.
Because basically, like you've been like, it's like a whole thing. Like you've been embarrassing us, da 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 da. So he made one stipulation for this match: if you lose, you fired. And then boom, she of course she gonna lose. Take her off TV for a while. Now, when she coming back as a wrestler. I'm pretty sure she want to get back in that ring. I mean, she been gone from it for like almost 2 years now.
About, yep.
Yeah, so yeah, that's how I would do it.
I like the idea. We had a Sami Zayn segment next for his, I guess, his jackass type show called Insane. He was going to jump over the ring in a shopping cart, but he got scared, and then everybody started to boo him. Rick Books came out and threw him outside of the ring, military press style. And I thought it was okay. It didn't, how can I say this? It was okay. It didn't do anything for me. I'll put it like that. And you want to add anything?
I would say it didn't do what it needed to do. That's it.
Okay.
For SmackDown is good, but sometimes it can be hit or miss. Just not the whole show, just certain segments of the show. Like, nah, that was this week. I'm tripping. I was about to say like Selena Vega and Carmella coming out, but I was like, that happened this week on Monday Night Raw. I'm a week ahead, guys.
We are both a week ahead. like we've already apologized. It was my fault. The national college football championship. I had to watch it over Monday Night Raw, so I'm the one that put us behind. But I can see what you mean when you say that it didn't do what it was supposed to do. So I can definitely agree with that. Anything else you want to add?
No, that was it.
Moving on, we had an Aaliyah and Natalya backstage segment next. It was Aaliyah's first singles match, and Natalya came over hyping up her world records. And Salamander, when she said that she was going to beat Aaliyah for the fastest record in WWE, I immediately knew in the back of my head that Natalya was going to lose, and it was going to be the quickest victory in WWE history. And that is exactly what we got with Aaliyah versus Natalya.
I think it was the quickest on SmackDown.
No, it was the quickest in WWE history. It was 3.17 seconds. God fucking awful. And you know, a lot of people give AEW shit for their women's division, but they give their women more time than WWE. Did you want to add anything to this? One more time for the people in the back.
I would say, all right. So if there was a report, I don't remember a quote from quote, but like this week on the week that we on, week 2 on Raw, when Doudrop got the news that she was like, you know, what they was gonna do with the match and everything. That said, at first she was in 3 segments plus the match, so 2 segments plus the match, so 3 segments altogether. And you know how much time that was in total?
I'm going to say 1 minute 30.
too low. 5 minutes.
Wow.
So even then I thought, damn. But then they said they moved it up a little bit, so they gave it more time. But that just shows you that we do not give a fuck about that women's division. Like, you have a 2-hour show on SmackDown. You give your women, out of that 2-hour show with commercials and everything, I say you really get an hour 45 minutes of televised time, right? So maybe an hour 35, but I'm gonna roll with an hour 45 minutes. So in an hour 45 minutes, an hour and 40 is male superstars. Ain't that crazy? On Raw is a 3-hour show. 3 hours is 90 minutes. So I would say 2 hours and 45 minutes. I would say 2 hours and 30 minutes. Right? 2 hours and 28 minutes is male. And the last 3 is the female shit that they give them. It's horrible.
Wow. And they give AEW's women's division shit. Moving on, we had Michael Cole, Lita, Charlotte segment next. Salamander, as much as I love the Queen, I'm gonna give this a god fucking awful because I don't want to see Lita versus Charlotte.
You know what I'm gonna say?
What's that?
Yeah, whatever. I didn't know it was Flashback Friday. That was hilarious.
I thought it was Throwback Friday.
I think she fucked up, but I'm gonna roll with it. It's the Queen. But it's great to see Lita back in WWE. I wouldn't mind seeing her win in the Rumble. And I also wouldn't mind her challenging Charlotte at WrestleMania. But I told you this earlier. Alright, 2019, Charlotte beat Trish Stratus. 2022, Charlotte beat Lita. I'm manifesting it, right? Mm-hmm. I'm manifesting this. Some way, somehow, we are going to get Lita versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. Charlotte is going to defeat Lita at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going to be upset for a while. They're going to be mad at WWE. But in the long run, this is the best move to make because Charlotte is already getting booked as the best women wrestler ever, right?
Right.
So, why not, on top of all the things that she accomplished in WWE, why not, if she already defeated Trish, why not have her go over another well-respected female legend? What other way to solidify her greatness and mark her the greatest woman wrestler of all time? At least in WWE.
Nah, I mean, I get it. It's not a bad move. I just don't want to see it. Just like you don't want to see the mixed tag between Edge, Beth, Miz, Maurice. I don't want to see Charlotte versus Lita. I just don't care. And then when she hit the twist of fate, it didn't even look good.
Like I said earlier, they be rusty. I could say that. But I mean, to me it's a difference. Like the Maurice and Britt, I'm about to say Britt Baker, the Maurice and Beth Phoenix thing. That's like, you know, they both been out the ring. They both, you know, basically it seemed like they put wrestling behind them, like they getting caught, like pulled back in for this one-time thing. So it's like, I don't know. It's just certain people, like, you know, certain legends that come back, you just know, like, it's not gonna look good.
No, I see what you mean.
But then there's certain legends that's been away for a while that comes back, and, you know, Like Lita, she may look like that now, but like by the time the match come or whatever, she'll get her shit together. Like that type shit. Like The Rock. Like when The Rock first came back, he was kind of sloppy and shit. But then, you know, by the time his match with John Cena happened at WrestleMania, he was good. Like it's certain people who can do that. Then there's certain people, you know, like nah. Like if Undertaker come back, it like you be like, oh shit. It's gonna be one of those. You're excited to see him, but it's like, oh shit.
Nah, I'm with it. Let's hurry up and breeze through these last four so we can get to Rampage and then the news for the week. Ricochet versus Sheamus. Sheamus got the win. I thought the match was okay. Ricochet is an amazing wrestler, and I believe he needs to be pushed more. And I think Sheamus helped elevate Ricochet to a level he hasn't been at for a while. Did you want to add anything to this?
Nah, you keep going.
All right, we had a Sonya Deville, Adam Pearce, Naomi segment next. Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville have been having problems with the thermostat. Adam Pearce said he was going to go talk to maintenance. Sonya Deville took her suit jacket off. Naomi walked in there and said, I see you don't have the suit jacket on now. Said Naomi was about to start beating up Sonya Deville. Adam Pearce walked in. Naomi then complained to Adam Pearce, pretty much saying she's always screwing me. She screwed me in a match with Charlotte. And Adam Pearce granted Naomi a championship contenders match. And if she wins, she'll be challenging Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I thought this segment was fantastic, and I like the play. I like how WWE played on Sonya Deville, always saying, "As long as I'm in this suit, I'm a WWE official." So I like how they did that. Next up, we had Kofi Kingston versus Madcap Moss. I thought this match was god awful. Madcap Moss got the win. It's very sad seeing Kofi Kingston out there by himself. Did you want to add anything to this?
Where do I start? If y'all ain't noticed, I've been on one this whole episode towards WWE because they be giving us some bullshit. And it's funny how 2 years ago Kofi Kingston was considered the best wrestler at WWE of 2019. He was fucking champion 2 years ago. In 2 years, he went from being WWE World Heavyweight Champion to sitting sideline to dropping out. Is this fucking 2009?
Well, wasn't he Jamaican?
What, 2010? After that shit with Randy, when he started dropping out and he was just being placed anywhere.
That's what it seems like, bro. That's exactly what it seems like. Anything else you want to add?
Nah.
Moving on, we had the main event segment, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns face to face. I thought this whole thing was good. It was excellent. Seth Rollins pretty much saying that he's in Roman Reigns' head. And apparently, they're saying Roman Reigns said the N-word when he said, you must have been living under a rock or something. And it kind of sounded like he said the N-word. You might have to go back and listen to it again. I think that's just his mannerisms. But Roman Reigns then told Seth Rollins, if I wanted to main event WrestleMania with a megastar, I would have chose your wife. And then a little bit after that, the Usos come down. Seth Rollins evades both of the Usos. He climbed on the table to evade one. He then sent another one into the stairs, and then he went back in the ring, had a stare down with Roman, and then he left once the Usos re-entered the ring. I thought it was fantastic. I thought after this, both of them looked very strong.
Yeah. I kind of said earlier in the show about, you know, the whole four-way shit. Brock, Bobby, Roman, and Seth. So it's pretty much the same shit. But this promo was good though. But it's fucking hard, man. I'm telling you, WWE's booking themselves into a fucking nutshell, man.
That's how it always is, bro. That's exactly how it always is. Out of SmackDown, 1 out of 10 for SmackDown. I'm going to give SmackDown a 7. I thought most of this was good outside of the Aaliyah and Natalya and the Sami Zayn. Outside of that and the Lita and Charlotte stuff, I actually thought this was a very strong show.
I'm actually going to give it I agree with a 7. But just besides the Natalia thing, I think that and the Sammy shit kind of fucked. No, that and yeah, there was the Sammy shit. Yeah, so that and the Sammy shit kind of fucked up the show for me. But other than that, hey, the whole show was strong. So it did better than Raw.
Yeah. We're gonna breeze through Rampage, and then we can go ahead and jump into the news. We had Adam Cole versus Trent Beretta. Adam Cole got the win. I thought the match was fantastic. We had a Thunder Rosa Mercedes Martinez vignette, hyping up their match that's gonna happen soon. We had Andrew Everett versus Sean Spears. Sean Spears won in about a minute with the C4. Then he cut a promo on CM Punk. I thought that was good. The Acclaim dropped their music video against Darby Allin and Sting. They called it Goth Phase. I thought it was fantastic. We had trios action in the women's division. Layla Hirsch, Red Velvet, Chris Statlander versus the Bunny, Penelope Ford, Nyla Rose. The Bunny, Penelope Ford, and Nyla Rose got the win. I love the story that they're telling between Layla Hirsch and Chris Statlander. I actually think that's going to be an excellent rivalry, or a excellent rivalry when we get to it. We had a Scorpio Sky promo next, hyping up why how long he hasn't been, for how many days he hasn't been pinned, and why he is the TNT champion, and why he hasn't had a shot. Next up, we have Ricky Starks, Jay Lethal segment next. Jay Lethal came out. He pretty much told Team Taz, mainly Ricky Starks and Taz, that he doesn't like how they've been treating Dante Martin, and Jay Lethal challenged Ricky Starks for the FTW World Championship. We then had the main event. The AEW World Tag Team Championships were on the line. Jurassic Express versus Dark Order members Alex Reynolds, John Silver. I thought this main event was absolutely fantastic. The spots in here was great. This is a match that I really can't explain with words, so I will go out and watch that episode of Rampage, specifically the main event. Jurassic Express got the win over Alex Reynolds and John Silver, but all, I thought Rampage was stronger than AEW Dynamite, so I would give Rampage an 8 out of 10. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I can't rate Rampage this week. I didn't watch it. I watched Dynamite. I'm a true AEW fan.
Oh yeah.
You are AEW mark because you watch all the other shows.
Yeah, well, except for Dark Elevation. I do need to catch up on Dark Elevation.
See, you got to catch up. I don't even know where to find it at.
It's on YouTube.
I just go tune in on Tuesdays at 8.
Wednesdays at 8.
That's why I said Wednesdays at 8.
You said Tuesdays.
On TNT.
Listen, bro. Let me give you the schedule, because you don't know. AEW Dark Elevation, I believe, comes on every Monday on YouTube at 7. AEW Dark comes on Tuesdays at 7. Dynamite is 8 o'clock on Wednesdays, and Rampage is 10 o'clock on Fridays.
Yeah, you watch all that. I just tune in on Wednesdays. That's what us real AEW fans do. We tune in on Wednesdays.
Hey, bro, you do you. Let's get into this news.
Let's go ahead, cue in the news. Hello everyone, I'm Camilio Salamander, representing WBPTV, and this is today's news. Cody Rose has been the talk of the wrestling world this week. It was revealed that his contract is currently up, and he's a free agent. Now, he has yet to sign a new contract, but my question, is it a work? Do you think he possibly could be leaving, or you think he's entertaining other companies, or I mean, what do you get around this? Because me personally, I think it's a work. He's VP of AEW. He's not going nowhere. He's one of the exclusives. He's gonna be there from beginning to end.
Like you, Salamander, I do agree it's a work. I just find it funny. I mean, you really think Tony Khan's going to allow the TNT champion to not be on the show? And like you said, he is an EVP. He's an AEW lifer. I don't see him going back to WWE, because if he goes back to WWE, all they're going to do is make him Stardust and bury him again. For one, helping this upstart company grow, and two, supporting. He's also contracted with different shows through Turner, like the Go Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a work. I think this is just Cody Rhodes working us all. If I'm being honest, I believe he's already signed the deal.
Quietly under the table.
Yeah. Yup, and he knows that he's a huge discussion in the wrestling community because Cody Rhodes, and I've said this on numerous times to you, Cody Rhodes is entering that John Cena territory where whether you like him or hate him, he'll always have a reaction. And that's what you want. So I think he's working us all.
Okay. So, the next story that we have here on WBPTV News, we have the Hardy Boys reuniting in the ring for the first time since 2019. Yay or nay?
I believe they have one more run in AEW, but I've also
Of course you got to put the AEW there.
Of course. But I've also told you that I think the perfect team to retire them is FTR.
Alright, so Big Time Wrestling has announced that Matt and Jeff Hardy will team together at that show in Webster, Massachusetts on Saturday, March 12th. Matt and Jeff Hardy opponents have not been announced yet, but Big Time Wrestling graphics that showed that the Hardy Boys will be part of it. That is because my fault. Big Time Wrestling graphic has showed that it's part of this is the Hardy Boys 2022 tour. So is this the last time that we will see the Hardy Boys team up?
I think
They teasing it like it will be.
If they're gonna go, because I think Tony Khan's gonna sign them not to like a 3-year deal. I think he's probably gonna sign them to like a 2-year deal. So whenever Jeff comes in, I think there'll be a 2-year deal till 2024, and I think this the last year of their contracts will be their retirement tour. And I think AEW is going to sell out a lot of arenas, and whatever smaller promotions that wants to bring them in, they're going to sell a lot of tickets on the retirement tour of the Hardy Boys.
All right. Our last story of the day. The title. WWE has no plans for a champion versus champion match at WrestleMania. Now, you know that WWE had to take a detour from the path that they wanted to do with the feud of Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns heading into WrestleMania because Roman had tested positive for COVID, right? So this kind of put a halt to their plans. But with them already coming out saying, and this is according to Dave Meltzer, that he was told no. So they are still going in with the plans of, Roman versus Brock. Title on one. I won't say who, but title on one. So that kind of brings me back to what I was saying earlier in the show. It depends on at the Royal Rumble. It depends on what we get at WrestleMania. It really depends on what we see. What match goes first at the Royal Rumble? If Roman and Brock go first, Roman and Seth go first. Roman's going to retain. If Bobby and Brock go first, Brock is going to retain. If Bobby wins, I'll get into this later. What do you think about this story?
Like you, I also agree. I'm a huge fan of the Tribal Chief. I think this has been his greatest run ever. I think he's in a godlike tier at this moment. He's on a godlike run. I do agree. Whichever match they put on first is going to determine how we're going into WrestleMania, whether that's going to be title belt on Brock or title belt on Roman.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, if it's me, Salamander, I want to see Bobby beat Brock. Because I think that for all that Bobby Lashley has done, you can give him that win.
Mm-hmm.
You can give him that win. If WWE is not going to give it to him, and they eventually want to move that WWE Championship to SmackDown, then I can see Bobby losing. It's really one of the few times, I would say over the past 3 to 5 year span, where we're going into 2 championship main events, pretty much not knowing what the outcome for either matches are going to be, and I think that's what's going to add a great amount of hype to the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. So, the last topic before we get up out of here, who do you have? Who is your favorite to win the Women's Royal Rumble? Who's your favorite to win the Women's Royal Rumble and the males?
If I'm doing the males, I'm gonna put my money. I want to say Biggie. I really want to say Biggie, but I honestly think it's somebody we don't know. I think it's somebody who hasn't been announced.
Okay. And what about females?
If it's the women, let me ask you this: have we heard anything about Bayley or Asuka coming back?
No.
Okay.
I think it's about time for either one of them, for real. I think they might be keeping it a secret too.
I'll say this: for the women, I have 3 favorites: Asuka, Bayley, or Naomi, and then that's it. Those are the 3 that I can see.
Okay, so mine's for the men's. I'm gonna either go with Biggie or Sheamus, and then for the women, I got 3 too. I got 3 also. So I'm gonna roll with. I forgot who I said earlier before we recorded. But I'm going to go with Lita, Nikki, or Brie Bella, and if one of them wins, they're going to go on the challenge for the tag team titles, I believe. And then there's going to be a woman for the main roster. It's not going to be an NXT woman, but it's going to be a woman. I don't believe if it's Liv Morgan, okay, I won't be mad at that because she earned that, you know. Or if it's Bianca Belair, I won't be mad at that either because she earned it. The only problem with that is she'll be a back-to-back champion. But I sworn we've seen that before with Stone Cold. So if you're mad about this, be mad back in in the 90s, late 90s or early 2000s when he won back-to-back. So who besides the women, because we know they don't have enough women to make up 30, so we expect NXT call-ups. We already know we get Mickie James, so we expect some more legends to show up too. But in the males, any surprise guests that you hoping for or you think you might want to see? Well, that's the same thing.
For the males, yeah. I know this is probably outside of the realm of possibility, but I would love to see Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder, in there. He would get a nice pop.
I think that's possible though. I think it's possible for him and Christian.
Yeah, I could see Christian in there too. Well, I can't see Christian because they've already said there will be no AEW involved.
Christian, I thought he's still TNA.
No, he was just
All Elite.
Yeah, he's been All Elite.
Oh, I thought he was TNA. I thought he was Impact. I thought he was All Impact.
No, he just won the Impact Championship off Kenny Omega and held it for a little bit.
Okay, so yeah, never mind. You know who I think will actually make great, and the thing about it, I hope WWE do this right, because if you use anybody from Impact, do not make them look weak, because if you working out this relationship with Impact, y'all both can capitalize off this shit. For one, you building up Impact, and then for 2, you get more of a fan base from their fans coming over to watch y'all shit again. You feel me? So I wouldn't make Mickie James look weak. I wouldn't let her win it, but I wouldn't make her look weak. I wouldn't make anybody who you gonna pull for Impact look weak or nothing like that in the Royal Rumble. But somebody for the males, I'll at least call 2 or 3 people for the male for Impact to come up. And one of the main persons I would have is Moose. I would have him enter. I have him eliminate at least 5 people. Have him get eliminated by 2. Boom. That'll make some people go over there because he already called out all the champions from WWE, from all promotions. And he came to WWE, made an impact. It took 2 motherfuckers to eliminate him because he was dominating. So he gonna go on Impact on Thursday and talk his shit.
Well,
it's gonna make us tune in.
Well, if I'm Scott D'Amore, I get Mickie James, and by the way, I don't think Mickie James is gonna be in the Rumble that long. I think she's
Nick Atlas
from NWA. Yeah, I can see that too.
He's gonna come too. Cause his wife is coming. A favor for a favor.
I don't think Mickie James is going to be in this Royal Rumble longer than 3 minutes. If I'm Scott D'Amore, I don't send over my champion. I send over somebody who we can capitalize off the exposure. What about a Josh Alexander?
Let me say this: if you Scott D'Amore, you will be wise enough to make sure the negotiation will fit both ways. If you want my champion, Mickie James, this is a must. You must, if she comes out, you must say, this is the Impact, the Knockouts Women's Champion, give us our props or whatever. My champion cannot look weak on your television. Boom. Even if she in it for 3 minutes, you can have her be in there, make an impact, no pun intended, and then like two people eliminate her or whatever, that make you look strong. But I think she'll last longer than 3 though. She at least gotta go get like 10. She can have like 1 elimination in 10 minutes though, but she just make an impact of just be dominating. Like she could dominate 10 minutes with one maybe 2 eliminate. 1 elimination, like 2 assists.
I mean, I can see it. I just don't think she's gonna be in there that long. Like, there's not really a partnership. They just called over. I think this is a one-off, and Impact's publicity is the fact that Pat McAfee mentioned that she was the Impact Knockouts champion. There you go.
I mean, we got 2 weeks, so we gonna see what they gonna do. That's pretty much it. I just really hope they don't fuck over Impact, cause this is a smart move. They both could capitalize off of it. They do this right with Impact. Who knows? Ring of Honor, New Japan, they might be more open to work with WWE, and this can really benefit for everything. WWE is the only promotion that never opened that forbidden door. It's 2022. It's time now.
Well, I just find it funny how, and I've mentioned this to you before, how when Triple H wanted to do this shit, it was a no. WWE doesn't play well with others. Now that you destroyed the legacy of Triple H, now you want to start working with other companies, and Vince McMahon wants to claim this to be his idea.
Yeah, I was about to say, you know what? That's why, because it's Vince McMahon. He wanted to be like, I came up with the idea. Something this major that's going to, because if they open this forbidden door, this is going down in history. This is going to be one of the greatest moves that WWE ever created. So Vince McMahon want that to be, on Triple H. He wanted that to be part of his legacy, that he took this company from his dad that was damn near bankrupt, made it to a multi-billion-dollar company that has successful movies and entertainers that come in and out the company. We got entertainers that came that was with us that sold millions of movies and all that. So he want that to be his legacy. Then on top of that, the world thought we did something that the world thought we would never do. We started working with independent companies. So you seen the Kenny Omegas possibly coming through WWE, walking through WWE doors, the Tanahashis and all that stuff. So I mean, there's a chance. I just hope they really, if they gonna do it right. But it is WWE at the end of the day, so let's not get our hopes up. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in. And we will see y'all on the next one. And stay tuned for the guys who's watching this on YouTube, because we do got the podcast where we went through the whole Ruthless Aggression era roster. That was over 200 people that we went over. So this podcast is going to be very lengthy, but it's worth it. We got Jimmy Lee came in the honorable third member of WBPTV Wrestling, so he stopped by and joined us on this podcast. So it's gonna be very entertaining. So just be on the lookout for that. It could be released any day now. But besides that, we'll see y'all next week.
I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.